welcome to the premiere episode of Texas Podcast Massacre. I'm your host, Mitch.
I'm Nathan.
And today, this week's unsuspecting victim is the lovely Lisa. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, guys.
All right.
A lot of enthusiasm there. Wow.
Well,
I'm so excited.
you sound it. So, as is our first episode, we want to kind of explain what this podcast is. We are a weekly horror movie podcast where we're going to talk about what's new in the horror world, what new movies are coming out, especially some like B movies on Netflix or in the theaters. We're going to have kind of a weekly debate about just some random topic that we wanted to debate about. And then we're going to review one horror movie. This could be something that's in theaters. It could be something old. It could be something you've never heard of. We're just going to kind of bounce all over the place. As fans of the genre, Nate and I, we've seen a whole lot of horror movies. But what we thought would be fun is if we really force some of our friends to have to sit here and kind of watch some of these and tell us what they thought about them. So that's
why I'm here.
That's right, and that's why we have an unsuspecting victim. Although I guess if you agreed to actually show up here, and you're not really unsuspecting at that point,
True.
But still a victim, and we won't take that away from you.
I feel like I'm the person with the headphones on and the killer's right behind me and I'm just like doing laundry or something. But
Wow, you could have picked a better scenario.
Yeah, that's fine. That's solid. You know, there are worse ways to go, though. There are worse ways. So we'll get started first with what's coming up in the land of horror. So on Netflix, we've got Zodiac, Devil's Bride, and Catfight are all coming out on June 1st. I have actually only seen one of these movies.
Yeah, I heard Catfight it's Halle Berry versus Michelle Pfeiffer, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yes, that's what I heard.
Are they wearing the outfits though? Do
No.
they have whips?
No.
Because if they don't have whips, it's not worth it.
That's a different Halle Berry movie.
Yeah, I feel like, wow.
I mean,
What do you want? What do you want Catfight to be?
What is even the premise of that movie?
It's
I don't know. Between the two of them, they're both Catwoman, so I just imagine it's them with the whips for an hour and a half.
You just described a lot of males. Ideal situation that movie would be in, but I don't think that's the case.
You know, Netflix is going to see a big increase. 'Cause I'm pretty sure a lot of people think that's what that movie's going to be.
Yes.
That will be the most streamed movie this coming week.
The first 3 minutes of that movie will be the most streamed movie of that. Yes, that's correct.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So I saw Zodiac. It's all right. I need to rewatch it, honestly. So I'm excited.
Is that horror?
You know, it's serial killer. I kind of lumped it in
That's
there.
true. Okay.
So, plus he never was caught. You gotta give extra bonus points for that.
Based on a true story, like all good horror films.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'll watch it again, but it'll be it'll be a good one to watch over this Memorial Day weekend. Although it'll be after Memorial Day, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But the bigger news is Friday the 13th. The video game is actually the release date is in 2 days, May 26th. Okay. Now I think right now it's just the multiplayer portion. I think the campaign's coming in like third quarter of this year. I think they're releasing in parts, which is kind of weird, I guess. But cool thing about this game is you get to play as Jason Voorhees, or I think you can play as the the camp counselors. But you can be either or, which is pretty awesome.
All platforms, I'm assuming.
Not sure. I should have probably looked that up ahead of time. That'll be a good lesson learned for
now.
future.
Now for the campaign, so the multiplayer, Jason chasing teenagers. You're either a teenager or Jason. Makes sense. The campaign, is it A, you are a mom and you're terrible at raising your kid and your kid dies? Option 1, okay.
But that's a short part of it. I mean, that's like that's probably the tutorial.
The
tutorial is probably you running around as Jason at the lake, and then you just
you like learn how to use the sticks, look up and down, left and right, and all of a sudden your kid's drowning, like right across the way.
You just keep pressing A, press A to swim, and you're just you're just like nope, no one's and you're drowned.
Okay. B, you're a little kid, underwater simulator. Okay, you're a little kid, you're under the water, you're seeing canoes go by. You're swimming around, having a good time. I'm assuming that is another option. That could be it.
Story ends there. You're just done swimming.
You just swim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just swam.
Yeah.
I mean, he clearly he drowned, but then he didn't die. So clearly, you could just swim forever underneath the water if you really wanted to. And then I'm assuming the third option is some sort of hockey sim, right? Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, you know.
The hockey players are in the shower. It's a stealth game. You sneak in. You steal the hockey mask.
It's sort of a Happy Gilmore type story. You know, he's trying to be a hockey player, doesn't quite make the cut, and then he goes and makes the cut. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he could be doing a lot of this. Could be like a 5 goes west because he drowned as a kid, and he comes back and he's like a 7-foot, 300-pound man. So clearly, things happen in the middle.
I would play all versions of the game we've described.
Okay, all right, great.
So none of this is in space.
Is it? Man, well done. Yeah, you know, I hope so.
Wow.
I hope they don't dedicate a whole lot of the game to being in space, but there should be a space component.
Press X to hold sleeping bag.
That's the Easter egg. The space.
Oh, what if the whole game is in the you know, it's at the Camp Crystal Lake, but then the whole game's been a flashback and he's in space, and then the sequel's going to be in space.
That would be good. It'd be like a Sixth Sense. Like all of a sudden everything changes at the very end.
That's right.
Or Jacob's Ladder. Ooh, even better.
Oh
Jacob's
my.
Ladder. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh goodness. Okay, so today's movie that we're going to review is Alien Covenant, and before we get into that, we had a bit of a debate that we wanted to kind of bring up here. Which alien from any franchise is really the best alien? You know, is it the xenomorph? Is it really the perfect organism?
No, false.
So we already have a false. Nate, let's go. Yeah, we'll start with you. What do you got, man?
Well, I don't know why you picked me first because mine's the best. The best aliens in any horror film are the pod people from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh,
I didn't have to think about this very long. It's pretty obvious. One, the most likely scenario of any aliens probably existing anywhere. Just like a little spore, just comes in, things start growing, boom. All of a sudden, you're totally replaced. The aliens are super creepy because they look exactly like everybody, right? Mm-hmm. They kind of remember things, they kind of don't. It's just close enough to be uncanny and really creepy, right? Then they're also taking over the entire world at the same time. Totally works.
That's what you're going with.
Yeah,
huh?
totally.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a letdown for mine.
What? Like all these xenomorphs, you can see them come a mile away. All of a sudden, you know. So
What do you mean you could see them? They're in space, and the whole point is that they are in dark tunnels in space. There's no light.
Okay.
What do you mean you could see them coming?
An Alien Covenant, there's a lot of aliens shattering windows. All right, so let's put that to bed here.
Okay.
The pod people, you don't see them coming. That's the key thing. Just a little pod thing. Like, oh look, it's like this is like the rainy season or something. Oh look, the thing's growing. It's like an invasive plant or something. And then all of a sudden, your wife's trying to murder you. It's great.
I mean,
yeah,
I get it. But then, okay, so how does that compare to like any typical kind of zombie though outbreak where it's I don't know, like Last of Us situation, or
because it's more insidious. Because
what about the M. Night Shyamalan one where it's the trees? We don't know that they weren't the aliens.
That's the happening. So
that's the happening.
Give it the respect you deserve.
I did.
This could be controversial.
I did.
It's going to be controversial because I kind of like that movie.
Did you?
So, yes.
All right, we'll have to save that for.
Yeah. Well,
that's a whole other debate.
What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah.
Imagine what's scarier, like this monster thing coming at you that you can clearly see, you can plan for, you can fight it, or that Mitch all of a sudden is just like tying you down next to this pod thing and not letting you get up so you can be like absorbed into this hive mind alien spore thing.
I mean, to be fair, there's pods in Alien too.
Yeah, but not like replication take over your mind pods.
No, they just.
I mean, your chest, your back explodes and it's over. But this is like you're in there, but then you're like taken over. That's way worse. It's like a long term.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like you. Both creepy.
All right, so what do you think is the best?
Okay, so you didn't say horror franchise. You said franchise.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
It
you said
says it right there.
franchise.
It says it right
Okay.
there. It's in the fine print.
So,
okay.
Coneheads.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Best
Best aliens ever.
Wow.
Because, come on.
Yeah.
Good neighbors, okay? Their daughter's going through everything a normal teenager would go through, right? They're just fun, loving aliens. It would be great. If
And they didn't
aliens
they didn't eat any
come-
cats as far as we're aware.
As far
Like
as
that
we're aware.
freeloader Alf. So that's good.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
Now, if a conehead Okay, so say a conehead person gets old, which you didn't see in the conehead movie.
Okay.
I don't remember, right?
I don't think
Conehead gets old, and its cone starts drooping. It turns into a very xenomorph-like head.
Yeah, it depends. It has to droop backwards, but yes, that is.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like it starts like flat. It's like ooh,
Yeah.
it goes down.
Very true.
It could be precursor. Is that what the Android guy was doing?
Oh my god.
There's a conehead somewhere in there, and then you didn't see him in the movie, and then eventually they came to Earth.
Oh, maybe.
Could happen.
There you go.
Now, what was the name of this android? Which is the bad android? There's David.
Oh, David.
And then what was the other one? Jeez, I can't even remember.
I can't even remember now either.
The good Michael Fassbender.
Right.
And then the bad Michael
Yeah, that's how we'll just refer to him. Good and bad Michael Fassbender. Jeez. I think I went with both good. I think I went with my heart a little bit more. I went Predator, man. I mean, come on.
Wow.
It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the best of all of us, to take him out.
I think, isn't the category the best alien from any franchise? Not the best Arnold Schwarzenegger?
But it is an alien.
alien?
He kills Jesse the Body Ventura.
Sure.
Carl Weathers.
Sure.
I mean,
Wow.
he took out Apollo Creed. Come on now.
Wow.
I mean, that was that before or after the Russian took Apollo Creed out? Regardless.
That was before.
There you go.
Before.
There you go.
Spoilers.
So Victor Drago.
This is before.
Yeah, spoiler. Yeah, there's going to be definitely heavy spoilers in these podcasts.
Now, okay.
So.
This is going to sound ridiculous.
All right.
Pod people, efficient aliens. Coneheads, I guess efficient aliens as well. Predator.
I think they're hardworking. Let's say they're
hardworking,
diligent, beautiful. Yeah.
Predator, not smart aliens.
What are you talking?
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Okay, they have all this advanced technology, right? Because they're hunters, right? I mean, they're predators. What? And they have all this technology, and then what do? They basically get rid of all of it, and then try fighting people. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, that was as a sign of respect. It's two warriors going at it. But here, let me give you the reason why that's the best one. If you look at Predator 2, which
I prefer not to, but go ahead.
it is both the best and the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a scene where toward the end he gets into the Predator ship and it has his trophy case. And there's the xenomorph skull, the human skull from the Jamaican dude, and all a bunch of different creatures. So, I mean, he's clearly whooping ass on like all different planets here.
Okay.
Clearly he has murdered a whole bunch of aliens up to this point.
Sure.
So, no one else collecting trophies. And I think this is a guy that kills because he likes it. It's a sport to him.
Now, okay, I can rebut this a little bit. If the Predators are so good, how come Topher Grace lives so long? Answer me that. Okay? One knock right there. Second knock.
1 point.
Second knock. If I remember correctly, in Alien vs. Predator, obviously the aliens are around and the predators are hunting them. Hence your xenomorph head on the mantle, right? Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly in this movie, like one of the predators, does he die or get injured because he doesn't realize the alien has acid blood? I mean, come on.
Wait. Is this Alien vs. Predator 1 or Alien vs. Predator 2?
No, 1. The worst. Wasn't Requiem the second one?
Requiem was the
second
one.
That one was way better.
Yeah, it was. It gave you a little bit more. Yeah, the first one, okay. But the problem with the first one you have to remember is, according to the story, this is where the predators were supposed to come and train against the xenomorphs. That's why they trapped that queen.
Yeah, but wouldn't they know then that they're acid?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he slept during that class. I don't. Jesus,
I feel like they all slept during their classes. I'm just kidding.
A number of them clearly did. Also, per the usual horror movie trope, someone had to come in and ruin it all for everyone.
Now, okay, I get the predators are good hunters. Now, what do they do in their off time? Because
they go, any other
what is the technology that they have? Because they throw it off and they're trying to okay, I'm gonna hunt make it more of a sport, make it harder for myself, right? Okay, so I get that part. But what is their technology like? What kind of cars are they driving? That kind of stuff.
They have spaceships.
I know
they're clearly driving.
I would love to see a movie that takes place in the Predator planet first, right? Shows the motivations of the people, and then they go hunt things.
You want a prequel to Predator where it's them growing up.
I want a good Prometheus Predator prequel. That's all I want. That would be awesome. Just saying.
All right. Well, so none of us seem to think the Xenomorph was the best. So I think clear winner was Coneheads.
Clearly.
By far the scariest.
Indeed. Also, I believe they were French at one point, so that was their cover.
Sure.
Jane Curtin at her best. I'm just saying.
And on that note,
And I can look if Jane Curtin's been in any horror movies. I'm going to have to look this up right now.
and I would do that. Okay, so we are now going to move into our main topic, which is Alien Covenant, and we saw this recently. So for those that aren't aware, the plot of the movie is the crew of the colony ship Covenant, bound for a remote planet on the far side of the galaxy, discovers what they think is an uncharted paradise, but is actually a dark, dangerous world. When they uncover a threat beyond their imagination, they must attempt a harrowing escape. That is what IMDb tells us.
That's
That's basically the movie that I saw. So yes. So at least as our unsuspecting victim, what were your thoughts?
So, are we doing spoilers or spoiler free?
Yeah, we're spoilering. We're spoilering. Yes.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and just say we're spoilers.
Okay. Overall, I really liked it. Thought it was great. I love that the protagonist has the almost exact same haircut as Sigourney Weaver. It's like dresses like her, looks like her, and everything.
Yeah, clearly an homage for sure.
Clearly, yeah. Loved that James Franco was the captain for all of 2 seconds. That was fantastic. I'm a little sad we didn't get him longer.
Yeah,
I like that no one realized it until it was already too late. You're like, wait, what? We had James Franco on this?
Yeah.
I mean, what is he doing? He could have stuck around for longer.
And literally in the movie, here's a video of what James Franco could have been doing in this movie. To like that video where he's climbing like the rocks or whatever. Like, here's video of James Franco. I mean, you don't get to see any of this in the actual movie, like of him moving around or anything. But you get to see a video of him, and then
he never even came to the set. He just like had someone film him. Somewhere
that's
there's
a picture. There was a picture. He got together with people to take that one picture that showed. So
you sure he's not photoshopped?
Well, that's true.
I'm almost because when they show him in the pod beforehand, it does not look like him. At least it didn't click to me.
No.
I really wonder if that's actually him or they just found some lookalike. They're like, we'll just use him because James Franco can't be on set today.
Knowing James Franco, it would be him, but if you wearing prosthetics. Just cuz.
I really wish it was him, but dressed as Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Really, really wish.
And the Xenomorph's like, why bother? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even
they're already a doomed species. We'll just let it happen.
Okay, so what did you like about it, Lisa?
So it was well done. It definitely fills in the gaps between Prometheus and Alien really well. I thought the casting was really well done. I liked everybody. I thought they did a great job. I liked Michael Fassbender having to play two different people staring each other down and eventually kissing himself.
Yeah, that was good.
Which was
that's Oscar worthy.
Somehow really well done, because then right after that's like a really shocking scene. So
yeah,
that was good.
Like, how do you? I mean, from a filming perspective, how do you get yourself amped up to do that? Right? Like, I guess he's doing it with a lookalike that they're gonna so. It's a guy that looks like you that you're having to do. It's not like you can just tell yourself, they're just going to CGI this later. It's no big deal.
Is it green screen or is it another person?
It's probably another person, but they only have to look like him from the back of the head. They don't.
Well, right. But still, just the fact. I mean, in your head, that you're as an actor, you're making out with yourself, and what is that? That's weird.
I mean, if Leo DiCaprio had to, sleep in a bear, and this is what Michael Fassbender has to do, he'll do what he's got to do.
Does Michael Fassbender's body double get paid double? Because he's doing 2 parts?
That's very...
That's what I would push for.
Union rules. I don't know, probably.
Right.
I'm assuming they would.
Gets overtime, time and a half.
That's happening more now, because there's Ewan McGregor in Fargo is his own brother. But it's there's a classy Ewan McGregor, and then a disheveled,
like a
Joe Dirt, like a balding Joe Dirt level. It's he's his own brother. That's kind of crazy too.
Yeah, so it's good. I enjoyed it.
Good. So
I wouldn't say it was overly terrifying. It's
So that's
just
why you liked it,
more.
then?
That's why I liked it. Yeah,
Got it.
because it wasn't
Okay.
overly. Because I could sleep when I got home, so that was good.
So of the Alien franchise, and there's what, like 7, 8 of them now.
Yeah.
If you and I'm not even sure that's counting the Alien versus Predators, because there's 4 Alien. You count Prometheus and this one, and then so
2 Alien versus
there are
Predators,
9
for sure.
total if you count the
Yeah.
Alien versus Predator. And not to mention Alien Isolation if you want to throw the game in there.
Sure,
it's in the canon. So of all of that, what all have you actually seen?
Oh, I've seen Alien. I've seen Prometheus. I've seen Alien Covenant. I think I've watched Aliens, but I can't remember. But honestly, Alien's always going to be the best. That's what started it. That's classic.
Yeah.
That's what made it into a ride at Disney, right? That's like the thing.
Right. That's you've made it.
It's a
You've
Gurney
made it now.
Weaver just, hiding against the corner with a gun waiting for that thing
Okay,
to come.
relative to Alien, how much less scary is this movie?
I'd say it's probably about the same.
Really?
I mean, it's the suspense. It's the not knowing when that facehugger is just going to jump out of somewhere.
Yeah.
know?
I agree, guys. While I love Aliens, that's probably my favorite of them.
It's my favorite.
At the same time, though, it's definitely more of an action film because it's a bunch of Marines just running in with guns and just shooting at everything.
Yeah.
Whereas the first one and this one were very more subdued. No one's really military. They're all scientists. They're all in this case they're colonists. Going to whatever the hell that planet was.
There's the one acid face soldier guy.
Oh, right. But I'm just being like, but it's not a whole militia.
Yeah. That's true.
It's not a military
Look
operation.
at that.
Right.
Look at that lady who stayed back on the ship. How well she did with her guns, and then you can be like, all right, yeah, this is
Right.
they're in a lot more trouble for sure.
Now, the cool thing is, I don't know if y'all saw this on Facebook. I guess some of the mark advertised. It made it more on. It was elsewhere, I think, besides Facebook. But the marketing for it, what they actually did was they had a VR thing, and I can't remember what they actually titled it. But you're watching it, and it looks like you're in space, and you can put it in your little VR viewer. And you start seeing all these flashes, and again, you think you're in space, and then you start hearing noises and people screaming, and then you seeing your hands kind of develop as like the alien hands, and you literally pop out of this person on the operating table.
Nice.
And then you cannot look around, and you're like, what the hell? And there's a woman screaming and all that, and then it rushes at her, and that's how it ends. So that's how part of the marketing they did.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that at the time, but then when we saw it in the movie, I was like, the dude with the exploding back. I was like, oh my, why does this look? Holy shit, that's the
Wow.
king. So they literally did a thing where you can see it from the blind alien's perspective.
Okay.
Which note for any alien movie, please do not take a pregnant woman to these movies because seeing that alien pop out over and over again, I'm sure is not good.
Now, the one thing that they did, obviously an Alien is like the chest busting scene, right?
Oh, yeah.
They bust out chest.
Yeah.
So this one, they changed it up, which I appreciated.
The back was
The
very
back
well
explosion
done. Yeah.
was good.
Yeah.
My favorite was the one that came out of the dude's mouth.
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah.
That was great.
Oh, that was rough.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like I got something in my throat. Hold on a second. Blah,
Yeah.
just come out.
Because the back was shocking more so just because of how different it was. The mouth was just popped out right there. Like, it didn't give you any.
It was surprising for sure.
Yeah, it just
There's
popped right
no
out.
lead up. Like,
No.
I mean, the guy went down, right, which
Yeah.
is normal, but then just right out the mouth.
Oh,
It was good. I liked it. I liked how they mixed it up. There was no chest. It was good. Now, at this point, so you've seen Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, there's pods, right? The
Yeah.
face comes out of the
Yeah.
pod, all that stuff. Is it one too many times that they have to do that again in this movie? Like, it's just like...
To
it's
reintroduce the facehuggers?
Yeah, again.
No.
It's like, there's so much.
I
Come
say
on.
no because one thing that I learned from this, and I don't remember the rest of the franchise very well, so you guys can remind me if they brought this up before, but we were talking about this before we started the podcast with the difference between the aliens that come from the spores
Sure.
and then the aliens that come from these engineered facehuggers. And it's just totally different. And that's why, he gets to that point where he's like, these are the perfect creatures. Well, he's been genetically engineering them. Whereas when you see the ones from the spores, they're just
Yeah.
not very well done. They're garbage. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, they have to reintroduce it every time we have an alien movie, but
Yeah.
they're pulling in a lot of new viewers with this one, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
And-
I was like, even in Prometheus, there was like the thing that comes out like that wasn't even like an alien, you know? But
there was.
Like, right? It's like, oh, come on, like every time.
Which I guess they were trying to do that just to show where he got the idea for
exactly,
the cocoon.
or like that's where like that evolutionary part came from that the pod came out, right? And then he changed it, but.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a fan of the face huggers.
I think they're creepier than the alien itself, to be honest with you.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah. Well,
it has like hands on the side. There's like two sets of hands that like clasp
the little
over your
like
face.
glands or whatever. Yeah. It's well, and what I liked about the first one though is you see it. And normally you'd think, okay, well that guy's dead, but it then just lets it go. It lets it go after it's done, after it's incubated, and it moves off. So. Having that like, oh, well, okay, well, never mind then. And then chest burst.
Yeah.
So I thought this movie was pretty good. It was what I wanted Prometheus to be originally. So, and I guess that's my question. I think I asked y'all when we saw it, but now having seen this, does it make Prometheus a better movie? Because when I first saw Prometheus, I was disappointed,
not a fan.
and I don't know. To be fair, I don't know if it's because I was expecting more of this, more of like, okay, so is this how we got Alien? It kind of brought in the engineers and how life is created and that whole piece. And again, reiterating that we should never trust androids whatsoever with anything.
And
ever.
Aliens, he's a good one actually. Which is why Aliens is the best.
I've got a Roomba that I'm eyeing because it's Who knows?
Start spitting white juice at you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I don't know. What do y'all think? Does it? How do you feel about Prometheus now that you've seen Alien Covenant?
I think that Prometheus should have been half Prometheus, half this movie. Because I like the backstory some, but man, do you remember the back? Like even watching this movie.
No, I had to remember.
A lot of the backstory is just worthless. I mean, it's worthless. So if they could have done half of Prometheus and then half of this movie, and then made like another full-on Alien movie, that'd been perfect.
Yeah.
Ideally, I think that might be the best. But this movie was better than Prometheus for sure. So,
what do you think?
I don't remember Prometheus that well. Yeah. That probably speaks to
exactly
how good of a movie it was, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'd be willing to rewatch it now now that I have the context of where they're going with that piece of the story. With the, with the prequel, basically.
Is there? I guess I saw it in the theater and I was not super pleased. Is there a director's cut of Prometheus that is better?
Man,
if there is, then maybe watch that after you watch this, and then see like if that.
How often are director's cuts ever better than the original? Very rarely. I mean, I hear a lot of the most recent example where I've been told that it's been better is Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad, and those were lies.
The director's cut is just literally the TV being off, right?
Those were so yeah. So I mean. I don't know if there is a director's cut. I think, to me, I don't know. I think this is what Ripley Scott the story he wanted to tell, the way he wanted to tell it. So I really can't imagine some producer told Ripley, hey, why don't you cut some of these scenes out and then you're good to go. I think they probably gave him free reign.
Yeah, I feel like Ridley Scott basically pulled a George Lucas here. Prometheus was episode 1. Not great, but it introduced things that then later on in better movies took, used some of those components, and some they just let alone because the movie was not very good. Right. And then hopefully, eventually, although Ridley Scott's like 79 years old or so, he's old.
Jesus,
now.
Is he?
Yeah, he directed this almost 40 years ago. I mean, he's a pretty old dude. So I'm wondering if maybe someone else taking the reins of Alien would be maybe even a better idea.
No.
That's just me, though.
Well, the problem is, I think, because I thought about that, the problem I have with it is because of how big of an impact Alien is, I mean, there's really no space alien type movie that really isn't somehow influenced by it, right? Like, I saw Life recently.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and
Life is very
practically the same movie. And most of them are. And not to say that those are bad movies by any means. Life was, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well acted and well done. It was just, but you already knew kind of how it was going to really roll out. You knew.
Is that the Ryan Reynolds?
That's the Ryan Reynolds one. Yeah.
I feel like in Life, though, in Life,
right?
In the Game of Life, there was better acting than in this movie.
Like
the characters are way more memorable.
Well, I think
other than the main character, like she was like you were saying, Lisa, she was super cool.
Yeah,
super memorable, and then Michael Fassbender was super memorable too. So there's those two, but like I feel like in Life,
you kind of related.
I'm gonna remember and like. I remember those characters maybe even longer. Yeah,
I think the bigger thing too with it was that in Life, I don't remember any of them really like. My kind of litmus test for if this is kind of a dumb like would this movie actually happen is are these rational decisions that people are making? Life, everything seemed like the what they made the decision when they said we're going to quarantine, we're going to do this. It all made sense. It was all a rationale. In this movie, let's just go ahead and rip the bandage off. The captain was just the worst. Made terrible decisions. Clearly was thrust in there. They kept bringing up this whole man of faith.
That's what you get when you get a religious person. Everyone dies.
But
that's the moral of this.
It's kind of like they just said that, and then they didn't really explain what that had to do with anything other than he's a man of faith. And then they said it at the beginning. They didn't talk about it until right toward the end.
Well, he was like, I don't know if I'm a man of faith, so I don't know if they can trust me to make the rational decisions.
But I think they were only doing that because they were trying to tie into the creation part that the android had with the aliens.
Yeah, but then what does he do? Literally makes an irrational decision. Like literally, almost directly after saying that. He's like, let's go stop there. Like, wait, what? Should we maybe figure out why John Denver's playing first? No, we're just gonna go there.
When someone tells you, "Oh yeah, look into that giant pod licking thing. It's totally safe." Don't do that.
Yeah, you straight up know that this droid, that David is insane and it's going to kill you. Like he's already just allowed one of your crewmen to die. Oh yeah, let me look at the pod that doesn't.
That is so. Looking into the thing is at least. Oh, what is this pod? Like this is different. Like I can maybe freeze on that. If you see the dead person right before this, see the dead person, and then you shoot the thing, and then the android's like, no. And like doesn't care what the dead person literally floating behind.
And then you look into the pod.
Yeah, and then you follow that guy. That's
on you.
Yeah, that's on you.
Well, it was that lead up, all of the chain of events that led to that.
He took it was like multiple rooms. I mean, there was like you go through a corridor, and there was like the main room. They had to go down into a basement. It was like
he had a science lecture halfway around the damn thing.
It was bad. That was bad. He was a really bad captain. And he like went off by himself. He's like, oh yeah, go off by yourself. Like he was shook the whole time. It was bad. He was. He looked like shaken.
I mean,
so that was good acting, I guess. That he looked physically like he was out of his depth. But
look, if John Denver is the sign of survival, just ship me off into space, man. I do not need that in my life. So. I guess someone was excited about that, but that's terrible.
It's like when you spend billions of dollars to do something, and then you hear John Denver, and then you just change all those plans for those billions of dollars. Hey, the future of humanity is in the back seat. Let me just take the sketchy off ramp real quick, and then see what happens. I mean, that was a bad decision for sure.
Well, and I mean, this crew, it just made it sound like half of them were just trained ahead of time, like they just volunteered to be random parts of the crew. Like none of them really had. Didn't seem like a lot of them had a whole lot of experience at their different. So.
Okay. Wow. I could really get. So another part of the planning is, when you want to make people make rational decisions, like cold rational decisions, scientific decisions.
Sure.
That has this, the stakes of maybe humanity in the balance. You want to bring couples. Because that's always
to be married to be on the crew.
Yeah, that's always a stable environment. Like if someone dies, which could maybe happen, maybe not in this movie. Oh wait, in the first 5 seconds of this movie, someone dies. that their partner,
pilot's wife died.
Yeah, their partner or the pilot who then
captain's
flies the
wife
ship
died.
like irrationally close to danger.
So you'd rather be
Yeah.
a singles cruise to the edge of the galaxy.
Yeah.
You're all going into singles. You'll all just meet people when you're there.
Just my crew. The
Yeah.
hibernation people, fine, but
Yeah.
my crew needs to be cold and calculated.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, honey, you want to go hibernate, and then when everything's settled and we get unhibernated, then we go do. Okay, yes, that's when you bring those people in. But yeah, I feel like that was a structural, like in Prometheus when the dude's on the ship the whole time.
Right.
It's like, wait, what? This makes no sense. That part made no sense too. Although it was better than Prometheus, but still not great.
Yeah, okay. So since we're gonna talk spoilers, I feel like they missed a golden opportunity with the end twist there, right? Like,
Sure,
I think
you saw it coming.
Yeah,
but it was still. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Lisa? How was the twist?
No, I mean, the twist was incredibly predictable. And I appreciate that they tried to trick you by having Michael Fassbender play both parts so that you couldn't tell which android was which android. But we talked about this right after the movie. You seriously ask your security question after you're in the pod and you cannot move? No, that's crazy. You ask it the second that you get to someone who looks exactly like someone else.
Yeah, because, and I can explain this real quick. So the main character lady sees the two androids fighting. The one android basically saves her life from getting back bursted or chest bursted or mouth bursted, whatever way you want it to happen. And so she sees both of them fighting. So that's definitely in her mind for sure. Mm-hmm. Then she sees one of the robots, and I guess because the robot or the android helped her, she assumed it was the good Michael Fassbender.
Well, and because he voluntarily cut off his arm.
And he looked physically similar to the other one who had helped her earlier, right? So, I get
he was even wearing his clothes. I mean, he gone through
that was impressive.
Yeah,
that was a quick
for people that were getting chased by an alien at this point. He had plenty of time to change clothes, cut off his arm, tussle his hair, and get out there.
he's an aging android. No. That totally makes sense. Yeah.
I think it would have been better had it actually been the android they came with that actually made the decision to fall.
And then the other Michael Fassbender, he had killed him, but he had convinced him before he died.
Yeah,
that the xenomorphs were better than the humans. Yeah, I think that would have been
absolutely because what would have been cool is she'd asked the question about will you help me build the cabin, which to your point,
security question.
She never came up with a security question. That was her problem. That was problem number one.
Well, she did. She came up with a security question literally before going into like deep space sleep hibernation.
Well, I don't know I think she was just literally asking, will you help me build the cabin? Like that wasn't like she wasn't trying to trap him. I think she was just legit wanting help because everyone she knows is dead.
It was a terrible time because she was literally locked away in a pod.
Yes.
That was not that for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would have been better had she asked that question and he had just kind of said yes, and then she actually doesn't realize, and then he still goes and plants the stuff,
Yeah, and hold on. I'm actually going to look up what her character's name is because she's the main lady with the hilariously bad haircut. Daniels. Her name is Daniels.
Yeah.
She was great in this movie.
Here's how this podcast is going to work. We're going to give spoilers, but we're never going to name a character by their name. Yeah. So you'll never really know.
Bowl cut chick. You just go start from there.
You'll just know Michael Fassbender, but which Michael Fassbender?
Why
There's two of them.
Why is that guy from Almost Famous so stupid? Yeah, let's just keep going like that.
We talked about Jason X, which is Jason in space, however you want to call it. But there was a scene in this movie that approached that. And that was that shower death scene.
Sure.
It was when you first kind of saw it happening, you're like, oh my God, this is so cheesy. The tail's kind of slithering underneath.
Yeah.
And, the only thing that saved it was that the alien looked so freaking cool. Like the xenomorph when they found, it looked badass.
I know, that's one of the things I liked about this movie is that the xenomorph looked cool. Yeah. The xenomorphs were also super fast.
Oh, yeah.
Which, because in the 70s and in the 80s.
It's light tricks.
Yeah, it was like, the camera would move, but then the thing wouldn't, it was like kind of like tricking you because it was like this big, bulky thing. In this movie, this thing is flying.
Yeah.
These guys are like run. Even like the blind ones are going quick. Like everybody's like going fast. Which
right.
It's like a cheetah chasing like a gazelle or something. Or gazelle? I don't know. What do cheetahs chase? I have no idea.
A fat tourist.
Whatever. Something slower than the cheetah, and then the cheetah catches it, and then it's problems.
Man, I agree.
Yeah.
That
Was awesome.
That end scene. Look, her whole plan of how to get rid of this alien.
Terrible.
If that alien doesn't miss that jump and like land on the guardrail, she's dead. That was it.
Yeah. Well, it got like tangled in like a fencing thing.
And some fencing thing. That was her plan. Was that? Oh, I hope he lands right here.
Now, Lisa, if this was your plan, do you rely on your ladder climbing speed to beat the xenomorph?
Look, I didn't take any fault with the airlock plan.
Sure.
It was a great plan. My beef
hold
with
on.
it is why would you go in there with him? Just lead him there and send everything
Yeah, because they
off.
were moving all the doors to why can't they just close the door?
Yeah.
Lay down flat so the alien can't see them, and then open that door and then remotely do it.
Exactly.
I
You can
agree.
remotely control every door in that place. You did not need to be in
Yeah,
there
it's
with
like
him.
okay, my plan relies on one climbing a ladder faster than a xenomorph can run, which is that's a ballsy choice.
Yeah.
Right.
2, the ability to break ginormous chains on like the biggest Tonka trucks you've ever seen in your life. Right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And then so the trapping inside of the thing was good.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about these aliens is that they use their ginormous heads to bust through things, which is super smart.
Right.
Yeah.
And something I guess the other movies couldn't do because of the limitations, right?
Yeah.
But the head busting, like that, or the head like hitting of glass and stuff was like super smart. Loved it. It was great.
Would
Yeah.
you spend billions upon billions of dollars on this ship, but you can't get like alien head proof glass? Really? Bulletproof glass?
I don't know. Yeah. You would think like you're going to a planet.
You have potential airlock
Yeah.
complications. You don't have
Yeah, that's
double pane.
I mean-
paned.
Yeah, there's a lot of assumptions being made with these colonists on what they're going to need when they get out into space. Like, it's just a...
yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe it was just bad planning. You know, someone just didn't plan. You know, they did the
Well,
best
you
with
know,
what they
again,
got,
this is a. It wasn't. I mean, if it's government sponsored, it's certainly done. It's certainly under budgeted and underfunded.
Sure. Yeah. They're like, hey.
Even a company wise, there's probably some like, well, we really want those drills getting out there, but
Sure.
we don't want.
Yeah.
Don't need to give anyone like medicine, just the drills.
Yeah,
just
it's like, what?
you're gonna
No, there's no Medicare in space. Everyone knows this, so it's pretty obvious.
make space great again.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
Yeah, no. The other thing that was cool is the space boots. So how she didn't die in the airlock.
Oh yeah,
the magnetic
that
space boots, great, love that. That was
really
actually-
cool. That was really cool.
There was some pretty cool parts of this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was while we focus on most of the stuff. I thought it was really good. And so I think is there anything else about the movie I want to talk about before we get to the kind of the next sections,
Well, I want to ask
or closing thoughts maybe?
I want to ask Lisa, where does this rank? So you've seen a couple of the movies. Where does this rank?
In the Alien franchise
Yeah.
or in the general horror movie franchise?
How about both? So so you've seen Alien
Yeah.
and Prometheus,
Yeah.
and this one.
I think I would put it Alien Covenant, Prometheus.
Okay.
I think
That seems
that's
pretty
be the order.
not
Yeah.
controversial.
Yeah.
For me, it's probably Aliens, Alien, and then the series is over. No, I'm just kidding. And then
That's it.
I kind of like and then probably Covenant for me. It's probably third for me.
Really, you put it third.
I think so.
All right. I think. Oh, you know what? We missed one. I think there's 4. Is Alien Resurrection? Is that the 4th or is that the 5th?
No, that was the fourth one.
That was the 4th. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
The Alien 3 was the one with the 3 was the E.
right, yeah. So that one's pretty
90s.
much. I think 3 is at the bottom. Alien Resurrection's right above that, and Prometheus. Prometheus in between those two. So I'm going from the bottom up.
Sure. Okay, so Alien 3 is the worst.
So I'll say Alien. I think your top 3's right. I think Aliens, Alien, and then Covenant.
Yeah. It's better than being on a prison colony or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that was gross.
Right. Yeah, and then I don't know where I put the Alien versus Predator. I don't know if I want to even bring those.
Yeah,
in.
that's
those were literally just made as a cash grab, but they were way too late.
I feel like it worked. I don't know. I feel like they probably put no money into that, and then they got more money back than they put into it. Probably.
I feel like they tried to make one movie with the first one, and then no one liked that. So like, all right, here the second one's going to be basically that movie you wanted, and it's just total fan service.
That was the one with the 360 face hugger jump.
Yes. Oh, that was pretty sweet.
Was good.
You would be terrified of that.
Yeah.
If face huggers are the creepiest part of these movies,
maybe we should rate Covenant down if Alien vs Predator 2 Requiem is more scary than that. I don't know. Maybe
that's true. From a scary. I mean, and so Lisa, your ranking then, is that from a scary perspective or just overall just good movie?
I think just overall good movie.
So which one was scarier than to you? Like which one made you jump more?
Honestly, Alien probably made me jump more because that's the first one of them I ever saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you get to Covenant, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know, you can. It's. I mean, still a great movie, but you could kind of predict the jump scares on this one. So.
Okay.
It was a little well, coming out of his mouth again. That was surprising.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't well done and cool, but.
Okay.
You know an alien's going to pop out of somebody every 10 minutes. And
that's the problem because they had the aliens, right? And they kind of ran that in the ground. But then Prometheus was cool because it was different, right? Because it was like that weird like slug thing came out of New Mirror Pace, right?
Yeah.
So it was different. And then this one, they were different. There was like those white dudes,
yeah.
right? There was the blind guy.
Aliens.
There was the spores. There was all kinds of stuff. But then at the end, right? So they got maybe like 1.5 movies in. And then now they're back to the alien, right? It's like, what do you do? Now you're back to an alien again. Like, I feel like they really like, maybe they could have like made this like prequel thing last like more movies or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so any closing thoughts before we move on to our next segment?
What's our next segment?
Well, our next segment, thank you for asking.
Good segue.
All right. So every week for the movie that we review, we're going to talk about what I would have done differently.
Yeah.
Because in all these movies, there's usually some critical point where had they maybe not done this, they might still be alive today. Maybe not, but maybe a better shot anyway. So as our unsuspecting victim, Lisa, you had the first crack. What would you have done differently?
Okay, so I'll put this warning out there. If you haven't seen the movie Passengers, I'm going to spoil part of it for you.
We're going to spoil everything today.
So
who hasn't seen Sixth Sense? I'll tell you what happened.
So Passengers was really good. So if you have any desire to watch it, mute me for a few minutes and then come back. So the two comparisons I make between Passengers and Alien Covenant is they're both colony missions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're both crew and however many thousands of people are in hibernation until you get to your destination.
Yeah. In this case, Chris Pratt's the alien, though.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, fine. So I struggle with it because I started thinking, if I'm a passenger, like one of the hibernated passengers, who am I going to go with, right? Am I going to go with the Alien Covenant crew? Or am I going to go with the crew from Passengers? And there's advantages and disadvantages to both, I will say. One thing about Passengers is they were supposed to wake up at least 5 months before they actually get there. And that ship is gorgeous. And they have like high tech, like they have a French restaurant in there. They have a fully stocked bar. They have like a dance club. They have full sports center. So their budget for that spaceship is way higher than Alien Covenant's budget.
Sure.
That's fine. If it's government funded, then I can see that, right? Because in Passengers, it was private, proprietary. You had to pay a ridiculous amount of money to get on that ship, right?
Basically, it was Elon Musk's
pretty much.
SpaceX.
It's kind of like an Elysium, Elysium.
It was what SpaceX probably will become, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But it had issues, right? The same with Alien Covenant had issues, And in Passengers, the ship almost blows up, but they never emergency wake up the crew. Where at least in Covenant, they emergency woke up the crew to fix the problem. So that was a little better. But I don't know. I've been struggling with which would be the better one. Now, the good thing about Covenant that hit me right off the bat that you don't have in Passengers is in Passengers, 3 people wake up accidentally and they're screwed. They cannot go back to sleep. They're 90 years from their destination, and that's it. They have to live on the ship. Whereas in Covenant, at least, once they got all the issues fixed out, as much as it sucked that David was going to kill them all, they at least were able to put themselves back to sleep. So that was different. So I don't know.
Does James Franco not dying in the beginning change this calculation at all? So what if James Franco's in the whole movie?
If James Franco is my captain, that's the ship I'm going on.
Oh, well, there you go.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like the Alien Covenant ship is like the United of colony ships.
Like a Southwest or something.
Only because the crew is making decisions you don't want them to make and not good decisions, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if you emergency wake up the crew, can I add myself to the emergency wake up? Because I want to know what's going on. I don't want you making all these decisions that are going to affect me and my family.
Well, I mean, that's what you signed up for.
Honestly, yeah, I know. That's the hard part.
It.
That's the hard part. I'd have to go on one of these ships as the crew. I couldn't.
So so in summation, you would have shopped around a little bit more on which passenger ship to go on.
Yes.
That's fair. Okay,
I'm gonna go on Covenant 2.
I'm gonna wait. You know, the maiden voyages are always worse.
Titanic.
Boom.
Sure. Okay, so that doesn't answer what you would have done differently. So you would have watched Passengers instead? I don't know.
I did watch Passengers. Passengers is great. No, what I think I would have. I think. For them, I don't know what I would have done differently. I wouldn't have gone to some random planet when you had a plan.
Okay, so you would have gone with the plan.
I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have taken 3/10 of my crew down. I don't think for an exploratory mission they had to take most of the crew. I thought that was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, send the droid. I mean, send Michael Fassbender
all
down.
This technology.
Yeah, don't they have like a drone that could literally? Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. They could have flown up the whole mountain the whole time. Oh my god.
They don't have.
Yeah, how did they not have a drone or something? Like a Mars rover thing. They just drop down there and
oh man, that makes
send one person there who maybe can remote control it if need be, but otherwise, just
That's what I'm saying. We're not spending our money wisely.
That's a solid solid analysis.
Are you talking about the production company that funded this movie or something else?
Look, we had a lot of people we got to kill through in this movie, so we got to send them all down.
That's true. Okay, what I would do differently is throughout the movie, there's a lot of decisions that are made that are interesting. My runner-up is the lady shooting inside the ship.
Terrible. Always a bad idea.
Okay, she makes I think, very good move. The guy's sick. He starts convulsing. Things are happening. She closes the door, locks the other lady in with the guy who's convulsing. Then he gets back split, which was pretty legit. And then she goes and tries to grab a gun. Smart moves. These are all smart moves. Then the aliens, who are using their heads, literally, in this movie, are breaking through the window, right? Yep. Again, how strong is this window? Literally, this window should be going through space flight. It should probably be unbreakable. And then he breaks through, and then not only does she suck terribly at shooting, she explodes the ship, and the alien scampers off unscathed throughout the entire thing. That was my runner-up. Number one, almost famous guy. Should have shot David as soon as the chick was dead, right? And then the blind guy, he killed the blind alien. Great move. Way to snap out of it.
Yep.
And then he should have shot David, right, in the head a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. And then they still could have escaped, and they could have taken back that knowledge back to Earth, or kept going on their mission because they have like the solar sail that charges everything. That was super cool tech also. And then they could have at least known about the engineers, known about the aliens, taken that knowledge, sent it back to Earth. It takes months of light travel to get back, and then they would have been good, right? They still could have made it out. Okay, no problems. And then he just follows this dude down in the basement, and then just gets face off. Like, oh my god, you're terrible. That was the turning point for me. So that was it. Yeah, just shoot the evil android in the head when you have the chance, and your like light beam on your gun, like the scope is literally already aimed at him. Like he's got to pull the trigger. It's super easy. Also,
I guess that the Michael Fassbender android was like a common model, because as soon as they saw the other one on the planet, no one freaked out.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, hey, how's it going?
It's like, oh, you got longer hair.
I think they mentioned that though, that it was
Mentioned. It's like, oh wow.
But I'm surprised. Yeah. I mean, I think they mentioned that they had fine tuned that model.
Yeah.
So maybe
clearly their version was the different, better version.
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's not a Danny DeVito model running around. I'm sure. He
was the liquid metal.
They'd probably still be alive.
Right. Okay, so for me, I mean, the obvious is maybe just don't go into space. No matter what it is, going to space always is terrible in any sort of scenario in these movies. That's already instant. Your survival likelihood so much increases by just not going into space.
So Earth is done.
Yeah,
you're going down with a ship.
There's a good reason.
Better the devil you know than the devil you don't is all I'm saying. I just start playing that Titanic music, and we're all going down with the ship, and it's been a good run. And that's it. But barring that, because I can already tell you aren't thrilled with that answer. Barring that, I take it a step further. So at the very beginning, it shows David talking to I'm blanking on his name, Wayland. Thank you. Yeah. And he's looking at his creation. If you're going to build a robot that is going to have this sort of like great capacity that is going to live forever, and you're giving it kind of a free thought kind of rationale. Maybe build a kill switch somewhere in there. Just be like, sure. Just in case your robot is going insane and murdering everyone, here's just a quick button that just cuts it off, just ends it.
What you do instead of that is give your old version of the android like the main admin codes to the whole ship. That's what you do instead. That's what the movie ended up doing. The old version of the android, it said some numbers into a microphone.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Alexa, kill everybody. And then, I'm David. Oh, got it. Okay. Or let's murder everybody. I mean, it was literally almost that easy. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Alexa, 5832, kill everybody. That was the level of access that was needed to then basically kill everyone. So that was good.
Yeah. So I think wrapping up, we have one segment, just awards. Any kind of awards you would give any of the characters in this movie, for good, for bad. What would you?
I'd give Billy Crudup 7 spine breakers.
That's
for his terrible decisions in this movie. That's his reward. I give the writer of that character 7 spine breakers.
There you go.
I don't know who that is. We could look it up, but I'm just gonna go with that.
I'm going to go dedication to your goal to David. I mean, he is by himself this whole time. He is totally just engaged in his craft. He chops off his own hand. I mean, the fact that he's not going to let a single detail go by in this whole charade to get back on the plane. I mean, I am not that dedicated about anything in my life, much less what had to have been like a hectic 5 minutes to get all that done, to make it in time to make it on that ship and not cause suspicion. So definitely that.
You could have named that. You could have named it the James Franco Award. Because he cut off his own hand.
Well, yeah.
Wow, full circle. Sorry.
I'm definitely... Okay. And Lisa, any awards you'd like to give?
No.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Wow. So final ratings, or final cut, excuse me. So in the final cut, we give our kind of a rating for the movie. Now, what we try to do is kind of you'll get one from what I'd call the horror fanatics over here, which is Nate and myself, and then you have a special rating from the unsuspecting victim. That if you aren't a fan of horror movies but are still interested, that's probably a better rating for you. If you really like horror movies, then our rating is probably a little bit more geared for you. So I think for me, I would give this movie 7 out of 10 face huggers.
Nice.
Yes. Nate?
So is this out of 10, or I can just give it any number I want?
I mean, any number, just on whatever scale you want. We're not being super scientific here.
Okay.
People can always go to IMDb if they want.
Sure. IMDb, it's a 6.9 in case everyone wants to know. I'd probably give it 5 Miss James Francos.
Oh,
Probably. Because I feel like James Franco's in this movie.
Out of how many James Francos?
Imagine this. Imagine if James Franco was making these decisions instead of Billy Crudup. I feel like
You'd forgive him a little bit more, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It'd have been a lot better. Just saying.
Yeah. You'd be going to hell the same way, but like it'd be a lot more charming.
Yeah, you'd enjoy the ride more.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I agree.
I give it 5 white blind alien spore things.
Wow.
Because I feel sorry for
are these both out of 5? Y'all just said the numerator. We have no denominator on it.
I got
just
out of
5.
10. That's fine.
Just 5.
I'll say out of 10.
So you give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, because he just abandoned the spores there.
Okay.
I mean, they weren't good enough for him. Fine. They're not your perfect creation.
No, man, he's already past them.
The movie has a 5 out of 10 face spore white alien thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Jesus, I know.
I'll mind a 6 forgotten James Franco's.
6 out of 10 for you?
I'll give it a 6.
So, okay, so on 10-point face huggers, it's a 7. On James Franco's, it's a 6. And on a 10-point white alien spore baby thing, it's a 5. So there you have it. Thank you all so much for listening to the Texas Podcast Massacre. Nate, where can they find us? Because I don't remember any of these.
Sure, they can find us at Texas Podcast Massacre and at TexasPodcastMassacre.com.
So the first one's Twitter, right?
Yes, the tweets.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. We will post updates to the show, just random musings, and we'll keep in touch. Until next time, I'm Mitch.
I'm Nate.
I'm Lisa.
And we will see you next time. Take care.
Oh, bye, Lisa.
Bye.